everyone, Jasper here from the Going back to a new Amazing World of Gumball review, and if you think it's the last one, go and check it out. And we are back with the reviewing of the next 4 episodes of Season 4 of Gumball. And the first episode of this review is a really funny episode. And it starts with Janie, which she's quite an interesting character, though. I can just say, she is quite an interesting character, and especially being the daughter of the coach. And yeah, she goes over to Banana Joe and bites a piece of his head after he peels his banana skin, and then eats other people's food, and realizing after causing an explosion of the bus that she needs a sweetheart, a boyfriend. And she looks at Darwin, and Gumball is telling Darwin what was he thinking. And yeah, that means Darwin has a girlfriend now, has Janie as his girlfriend. And Janie comes over with a present that has a present inside for Janie, and apparently has perfume, and starts beating her head and kicking the door that Gumball was in, and is all beaten up. And stuffing Darwin's face with pizza as well, while taking Gumball's food. And yeah, these faces though. These faces that they make. Again, I just love the faces that they do in this show. And yeah, very awkward silence, though, because Darwin doesn't say a word towards Janie. And, yeah, they're using Gumball as a bench. And Janie goes over to Sarah and, yeah, literally beats her as well. Because Gumball is saying that he's going to go and clean off the sludge that Sarah is at. And yeah, Richard just appears out of nowhere too while they're in gym class, and he tries to go and talks to Janie, and yeah, she yells at Richard and literally beats him or does something to him that we see, and Darwin didn't do a thing. And yeah, she says that she left a message for Gumball and Darwin about their dad, and writing sorry by using different people to write it. And Janie is wondering why Darwin ain't sitting next to her, and then she actually says that Gumball is her boyfriend too, and we see this weird adult segment where, yeah, both being the brides and, yeah, going to work and having to watch the kids, and again, it's just so weird. So weird, though. And, yeah, Gumball is, of course, running, and, yeah, Janie is just being absolutely like a serial killer, I can just say, towards Gumball, just while he's hiding, and doing all these different things, and, yeah, just being crazy, though, and surrounding him, and realizing that he can't force him to be, or she can't force Gumball to be her boyfriend. And Darwin actually says something and gets beaten up, and Gumball is saying, "You should have just kept your mouth shut." A really funny episode. And now we go to the next one, which Gumball and Darwin hear this noises going on, and they're wondering what it is. And then they go and say Mr. Small, the school counselor, just moaning and sad. And we see, yeah, even the other teachers, like the coach, Miss Simeon, even Principal Brown, is just all just going crazy. And Gumball and Darwin ask Mr. Small if they can inspire him, or he can inspire them, while giving advice as well. There's no man team unless you move the letters. A smile is like a hug, that your face gives to someone else's eyes. And yeah, Darwin is talking about this dream that he had about a naked leprechaun. And while Darwin had cake as Sue's with a goat that has Abraham Lincoln's head. Like, okay. While the room is filling up with water as well. And yeah, of course it doesn't end very well either. And yeah, they decide to do this thing now, pouring this stuff on the floor, which causes people to slip and causes a fire to go and explode the skull. And yeah, Gumball is trying to attack Mr. Small. And yeah, everybody's in the emergency room, and Gumball and Darwin tried to make them feel better, but no, they just end up making things worse for everybody. And yeah, Mr. Small is wondering if his advice is helping them, and it looks like he's about to cry, but yeah, Gumball says that it has, and he starts singing, and they gotta try to make him not say the horrors, the chaos that happened with his advice. So they even try to, or Gumball just turns his head into a goat, trying to get the Abraham Lincoln goat to just ram at Principal Brown and Miss Simeon. And again, just trying to get Mr. Small not to look at the damage. And they're doing very well, too. And the goat is about to get them, and then he says, you should never take advice too literal. I mean, yeah. And they just take off the Abraham Lincoln mask, and the goat just faints. Yeah, another good episode. Now we go to the next episode, and it's another good one. And it starts with Darwin just trying on different hats at the mall and trying to see what Gumball's opinion are, and he keeps glitching out as well, in very funny ways too, that I just find very funny. And then Darwin thinks that Gumball is trying to say that his head is so big, and yeah, Gumball is trying to chase after him, and he glitches out. And Richard is upset that the TV isn't working, which, yeah, he goes over to the refrigerator and watches the refrigerator. And Darwin's trying to work out because of what Gumball said, thinking that his head is big. And Gumball glitches out again, and when he's trying to help Darwin, and he gets crushed and lifts it, and yeah, just not being able to do it. And Gumball is trying to cheer up Darwin, and that face he does too, and he ends up glitching out. And again, this episode is just very creative with the glitching that they do on this episode. But yeah, Darwin is just upset, and Gumball's just trying to get different things to write to Darwin, and when he's trying to read the message he wrote, yeah, it ends up not doing well and gets the door slammed in his face. And Richard just crying because he has to turn off the TV. And Darwin's still angry at Gumball, but just wants to come in the living room just to be angry towards him. And Gumball's trying to explain what thinks is happening, and he glitches out, and they end up fighting. And they're going to have to try to find a way of what is happening, which, yeah, Darwin's still upset, and Richard trying to find a way to get him to laugh, and they do. And yeah, they just cut to the gas station, glitch to the gas station, and Richard's just cutting out, and it just cuts to them just back on the road. And when they hug it out, they realize that Richard is not there because he's still at the gas station, just glitched out. And it just cuts to some baby birds in a nest, and then to this car crashing, and then this x-ray of a skeleton, and then a watermelon being destroyed. And yeah, them just freaking out, and then they end up flying in the air and ending up on this mountain. And then we see Mr. Fitzgerald going in his car, and yeah, his car getting destroyed, and he's about to say something, and we see this ice cream being made, this ice cream cone being made, and then we see these clowns. Like I said, this episode is just so funny. And then they're about to go into the Elmore shopping, and then they end up doing this Joyful Burger, and yeah, they end up getting Joyful Burger in the car, and they go into the mall, and they hit this phone booth, and this funny thing just happens, which they go to Larry, which is passes out, and showing this TV of these glitches that are occurring, and yeah, they just glitch to the house. A very funny episode. I really love this one. And then we go to the next one in this review, and it is another good one, and it starts with Anais's diary of talking about her making a new friend, and yeah, of course Gumball and Darwin are the ones rating the diary, and just from what it's showing about this friend and the stuff that has occurred, that shows this is not a very good friend for Anais. And of course, Gumball and Darwin are going to try to figure out of how to get rid of this person, and that face that Darwin makes, and throws Darwin's shoe at her, and yeah, Anais though, and freaking out her friend as well, like for real, and they don't know whether to be angry or sad, which they do both. And then at gym class, Anais gets hit in the face, and they're trying to talk to Anais, and ends up getting his face slammed and his feet kicked as well. And yeah, turning into this mutated monster thing, and yeah, Anais is still being creepy as well towards her friend. And yeah, we see them having some lunches that Gumball says, and yeah, they're eating, and these things are just getting so weird though. I can just say Gumball's freaking out, and yeah, Gumball pretends to be Anais and saying to her friend that they shouldn't see each other, and when they think they went too far, they then say that they're mutated, and they have to have a plan in order to come up with a plan to stop them. And yeah, Darwin just blocks their path and trips them, and this fire that happens, and yeah, saying that Anais is the one that's been a monster and needs to let go of her friend, because yeah, of her just keeps saying friend, 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 her keeps saying. So yeah, she's having to let her friend go, which they do. She does, and they unmutate, and when she says that if they can have a good start, a fresh start, yeah, she's gone. And she's like, friend, and chases after her friend that wasn't her friend. But yeah, a really funny episode. And again, I'm just loving Season 4. Season 4 is just absolutely just